What would your recommendation be for a top manager or entrepreneur that is in the room tonight? What do you think it would be top benefits for himself and his organization attending the Global Leadership Summit in March?
Yeah, the shared experience is very powerful. If you've gone to a movie by yourself and then go try to tell somebody about the movie, they don't care. But if they go to the movie with you, you can talk with them about it for hours. And GLS is like that times 10 to have that shared experience. So I very much agree with Daniel's point. The other thing I would say is you almost can't afford not to go. Once you realize how valuable and how enriching the experience is, the way the content is curated, the mix of speakers. Yeah, you can go watch TED Talks and see a lot of these same speakers one-offs. But what you can't do is see the curation, the combination of these things, and it's very intentionally put together. Some speakers are much more emotionally driven. Some are very rational. They'll have some music woven in, so a different part of your brain gets activated. You have people with you, and you'll have that shared experience of reacting to the same ideas, in a room with hundreds, in some cases thousands of other people. And then lastly, I think what especially happens well outside the U.S., not so well inside the U.S., is at the GLS, you'll not only see these speakers, but there'll be time for you, I assume you do this here in Romania, to process what you've just heard.
Yep.
So in other words, make sure you're taking it in, not just listening to it and it washes over you in one ear, out the other ear, and you can't remember it the next day, but process it, summarize it, synthesize it, so that you then own it. And it's yours. And that's what makes it useful and available to you as you go back to your real life afterward. And I think outside the U.S. in particular, the GLS sites do this extremely well. And that, again, just multiplies the value of going to an event like this. And that plus the shared experience and the incredible curation and production quality, I think you'll find it to be an extremely high quality event, both in terms of the content and the production values. That's at least the comments that I've heard all around the world for many, many years now. GLS has been going on for 25 years and operating at a very high standard all throughout that time.
And if I can add two more things.
Yes,
sorry.
Of course.
I sparked something for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, a lot of times tonight. Two more things. In Cluj, we also try to have, and we'll have also this year, a small panel where we'll just see cool things happening in Cluj with Cluj people. And actually today, I can
think we can give them a little bit of
yeah,
heads
actually,
up?
I just got a confirmation today. One of the Beard Brothers guys will be there, and I'm not sure how much you know about them. They are building a school with not so much money. Actually, Cornell, the guy who's going to come, he actually told me that their goal is to be able to build a school with no money, just by donations in Cluj. And, to me, that's a great story. And, the fact that there's such cool stuff happening. Last year we had Andy Deisler and others here. This year is going to be, among others, the Beer Brothers guys. So just to hear, positive, cool things happening in Cluj, because all we hear in the mass media is the negative stuff and things that are not going right, and there's lots of them in Romania, but there's so much that's going right. And then also from a personal perspective, and I come back to what I said before, it's not a typical how-to management session where you listen to 10 stories about time management.
No.
It's much more holistic than that. And, there will be management, there will be artists, there will be other stuff, and there will be also spiritual part, which is what I was referring to about my marriage 11 years ago, which was, to me, it didn't save my marriage, it saved me because it changed my way of thinking on one part of my life, which is quite important. So, yeah, you will be challenged. It's going to be uncomfortable. Like when I was there 11 years ago and Tim Keller said some things about some people, I recognized myself in that. I was like, no way, I'm a Pharisee, what in the world? I thought I'm a nice guy. And, I still think I am. But that realization hit me like a hammer, and it was totally uncomfortable for me at the time. So I'm not saying it's a just normal management course where you go, you learn some things, and you go back a bit brighter. You might be challenged in some ways, but I think it's a very holistic experience, and I think that's what sets it apart for me, because I've seen lots of, good events, but this is more holistic than the average, I would say.
Is Liz Bohannon one of the speakers this year in Romania?
You
Yes.
should know.
I
Okay,
think so.
so that one talk all by itself is worth going to see. I've seen. She's a young gal who started a design and clothing business based in Uganda, and now operating in different parts of the world. Anyway, her story is so good. It is, for me, the best talk I've ever heard in terms of the content, well-constructed, and especially incredibly well-delivered. I've seen her talk now already since August of last year a dozen times, and if I have a chance to watch it again, I'll do it right away because it is so good. I never get sick of it. That one talk all by itself would be worth you going, so you should go.